Senator Cadell.
I move to take note of all answers by questions by coalition senators. There's a lot of focus around housing today and what's going on here, and it's quite interesting that you can deliver a budget and not enough of your own party room actually read the budget papers to know what's going on in it. The surprise on the faces of some of the questions yesterday was truly great to see, because we talk about how this is going to build more houses and it's going to be great for the economy. But if you go to page 158, it actually says we will build 35,000 less houses on there. And we also talk about how it's going to be great for rents, but if you go to the same page, it'll see that the taxation policies will drive rents up. Now, what gets for me is we're going back to tried and tested territory on removing negative gearing and what it does for housing, because back in the 80s they tried this very same thing. And what we found in Sydney and Perth especially, rents went up through the roof. The proof is in the pudding. When negative gearing was removed, rents went through the roof. So they studied this and they came up with things, because it didn't go up everywhere. And they found that because there was low supply of rental housing, below 2%, that is what caused the rents to go through the roof. And then they tried it. Labor New Zealand tried it. They said, let's learn from our cousins. Let's get rid of negative gearing in New Zealand. So they tried that. And then they found that rents went through the roof. And they looked at the reasons for that. And they said, oh, it's because we had higher than expected immigration. That's the reason we had it. So what have we got in Australia now? We've got this government getting rid of negative gearing. But what? We've got both. We've got low occupancy rate or low vacancy rates. In fact, every capital city in Australia has 1.4% or less. Some cities have 0.4% vacancy rates. So we have lower than Sydney and Perth had last time when it was blamed. And we have higher immigration. The budget papers say 2 million people coming to Australia going on. So we have both instances, both causes on the one instance. But we're going to try it again, and we pretend that rents will only go up $2. But here's what's going to happen. We're building 35,000 less homes. We're bringing in 2 million people. Every experience where low vacancy rates below 2% have happened, rents have gone through the roof, and we think everything's going to be okay. This is a joke. This is talk about mess around and find out. The Australian people, Australian renters, students, people coming to this country, guys trying to save for a mortgage, will find out exactly what a joke this is, because I guarantee this. Rents will not go up $2 per year. They will go up far more than that. You'll see people, don't worry about the gain on in your investments to try and get a house. You won't be able to put any savings away because your rents are going to go through the roof. Everything we see in the past, I'd love if one Labor person was able to point anywhere in the world where negative gearing has been removed in a tight rental market and it is actually given better housing accommodation, better accommodation outcomes, because it hasn't. We are going to reinvent the wheel if this works. Reinvent the wheel. Low vacancy rates, high immigration, and yet they still think this will work. And we go out there and we say, oh, hang on a sec, but this is going to be great for young people wanting to get in the market. No, it won't, because they haven't got the negative gearing aspects if they want to buy a unit to start off. They haven't got the capital gains tax exemptions if they want to go into the share market or other investments to get it. That's all us. We've got it. Out of your 23 members of Cabinet have multiple properties. They've all benefited from capital gains tax and negative gearing. We can all do that here. I've got a place in Canberra. If I wanted to, I could have done that way. But the people who want to get into the market, you've taken away their option to get those benefits going there. So this is a joke of a policy. Your own budget statements, your own Treasury papers say this, but we didn't bother to read that bit. We keep going around, overall this is a good thing. Page 158. The taxation policies contained here will lead to 35,000 less homes being built.